Lied, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Crypto fam, good Thursday evening. It is, I know you've been waiting for it, TA Thursday with your boy CVO Crypto. Good evening, gents. We got BlockchainCrusader in the house as always. Miguel, how you doing, bro? You doing well?
Doing good, man. How's everybody doing?
Good, good. What's up, Paul? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me back as always. I look forward to these TA Taco Night Thursdays.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. We are super excited. Guys, if you are in TikTok, run on over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Debate Crypto. If you are in YouTube already, do us a favor. X out of the live chat for 2 seconds. Smash up the likes. Maybe share it with a friend. Make a goofy comment. Make a good comment. Make just some kind of comment. Let YouTube know you want to interact with us. So we appreciate everything, guys, and looking forward to this evening. But speaking of this evening, Miguel, what are we going to be chatting about? What's on the podium, bro?
SLOWVEMBER, bro. SLOWVEMBER's on here, right?
Hey, SLOWVEMBER. We gotta give credit where credit's due on that one. That was CVO. That was Paul all the way. Paul said
100%
title tonight, SLOWVEMBER.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, no
Why
doubt.
aren't we pumping yet? What happened to 100K, 200K? What's going on, right? Everybody's asking on TikTok, hey, why isn't this pumping? Hey, why isn't that pumping?
I think the whales saw our video last week, and they're holding us down. You know what I mean? And they knew what we were expecting. No, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just as I've been chugging energy drinks, ready to be up all month, and just seeing rocket after rocket, and I'm pretty bored, with Bitcoin right now. But
but hold on, let me ask you this before we jump straight into the TA. And Miguel, obviously this is open for you as well. Don't we feel like it's a really good thing, though, with the consolidation that we've stayed in a tight range? Because at least my understanding is this seems to me, looking at history, to look like an accumulation. Like literally we are somebody is piling on and holding those numbers tight so that when it does take off, it's going to rip. Am I wrong?
Nah, yeah, we're chilling, man. We're in a good spot. It's just, it's at this point. I think with the explosive October, October 1, everybody was really looking forward to November 1 being the same way. We're when we switch over to charts and all that stuff. I mean, I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, and even on the daily time frame, which is pretty massive time frame you want to go by. We're sitting right at a major key level of support. So we've been there now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 6 days straight. So we're literally just like on the edge of the diving board. I guess
getting ready to jump,
but the rocket board.
Yeah, I was about to say we need to get off the trampoline.
The trampoline. That's it. Yeah, we're at the edge of the trampoline.
So, Crypto fam, check it out. One of the things that we want to do, we are all about education, right? We're about education and helping you game plan. Part of the reason that we bring CVO on is because he does such a great job with technical analysis. But one of the things about technical analysis is that it's not like he just woke up one day and was like, oh, yeah, you know what? Started looking at charts and just knew what was going on. No, he had to get educated, right? So Miguel and I have been getting educated more and more with technicals, and we want to pass that along to you. And we feel like who better to bring that along than somebody like Paul, somebody like CVO. If you guys hear me saying Paul, CVO, Paul. Okay, they're interchangeable. Cool, you guys got it. Now you know his first name. But yeah, so ultimately, what we want to do is just a couple minute segment of a TA related term, a TA related idea, and I think tonight we want to start off on explaining what RSI is. Is that correct? Is that what you wanted to go over, Paul?
Yeah, we can go over that.
Okay, cool. So why don't you kick it off? Explain what RSI is, why it matters, what it means, and why we use it.
Absolutely. So so there's multiple ways to use it, but I'm pulling it up here, right? And this is the relative strength index, right? So this is an oscillator that basically oscillates between 0 to 100 and back and forth here. There's a few, there's some advanced ways to kind of like dive into this, but I'll just go with the very, very like basic, like anybody can kind of take this and put it in their TA toolkit. Essentially, you got some levels here. This kind of, like I said, it goes from between 0 to 100. You very rarely see zero, and you I mean, I don't think I've ever seen physically zero, and I've never really seen 100, but it's possible. But then there's obviously a middle line that's right here. It's kind of dotted, as you can see, and it's 50 right in the middle there. At the bottom here, you can see 30 is kind of highlighted, and 70 is highlighted. So essentially, when you're looking at anything, and this goes into stocks, whatever, the asset you're looking at, you want it to be, especially if you're bullish on it, or if you're going long or anything like that, you're in bullish territory basically above 50, and you're in bearish territory essentially below 50, right? So this is where you can kind of see, you can see it rising, but then we can hit our head on the 50 and continue just kind of dropping, vice versa. Right now, like for Bitcoin, for example, we came up, and I'll get into overbought and oversold in just a second, but we came back down and we bounced right here. This is a daily time frame too, so this is a major component to kind of look at. You can zoom into 1 hours and 4 hours, to kind of nail smaller time frame moves. This is a larger time frame here, so this is a macro picture, so to speak, and you came down and you got a bounce right here at a 52. So, you're still kind of continuing higher, although we're still, rolling to the downside here. You'll want to really keep this 50, as your base for the daily time, for these larger time frames here. Now, when you see this 30 and 70, this is a way to measure if something is overbought, which is at the highest level here. So that means that basically you're running out of buyers up here, right? You're running out of steam.
Okay.
So the sellers are basically going to start taking over. And then when you run down to this level, you're oversold, right? So you're about to run out of sellers basically, right? So then the strength kind of picks back up, goes from there. Like I said, this is on a daily time frame here. So one big key element to the RSI too, not just to when you're in between here, it's not cut and dry as to say like, okay, right now we're above 50. So we're golden. We're just going to head higher, right? You're going to need to see the price action kind of start picking up. But right now, if we were to start picking up pretty heavily, because we are at a 50, we have plenty of room to the upside. If you start seeing the price action picking up and you're up in this level, this was 78, almost 80. We're way overbought at this point. You know that you're kind of in a danger zone at this point. It can remain up here for a bit, right? As you see right here, we came up and we still had a little bit more upside to go through. But you really want to be paying attention to when you get to this level, because you're kind of in like a red zone, right? Now,
let me ask you something real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but somebody mentioned in the chat, they said, hey, this looks literally, the RSI looks identical to the price action. So my question is this a what someone would consider a lagging indicator, or is that because it literally looks like it is almost mimicking the price action? So would this be considered a lagging indicator? Is this pretty typical, or is this just what it's been here recently? What's that look like?
I mean, all these indicators are technically lagging, right? So, but yeah, so it's slightly lagging, but it's pretty much mimicking the price action as well. But like I said, as you can see, when you get to this level, basically above 70, you can expect a reversal at some point in the near future, and then that's what you do get. Now, one thing, like now that person pointed that out, the one really key thing you can use with the RSI is divergence, right? So this is like back here in May. You can tell that the RSI does not look like the price action, right? Because we were heading higher right here, right? You got all these tops, top, high, while you actually, even if you drag this all the way down to here, and then from this level, you had all this, right? We were going lower. So this is known as bearish divergence, right? So this is kind of indicating that there's underlying weakness in the price action, and then we're probably going to see a reversal at some time. Doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like if you would have saw this back in, this is a really large time frame. So if you would have saw this here, this was like March, and this didn't actually come into effect until like a month later. So this works really well on the smaller time frames, especially like a 4 hour or 1 hour, to kind of like identify some short-term pullbacks. Like for one example, like we had one on Ethereum earlier today, right before we started pulling back a bit. And then you also have, bullish divergences as well, which are essentially, I was trying to find one real quick. Pretty much what we had right here in July, right? So you had basically Bitcoin trending lower, right? You had making lower lows right here. while the RSI was making a higher low, right, on a major time frame here. So that indicates, once again, underlying strength in the market. You're probably going to see a reversal. Might not happen today, tomorrow, but it's on the way. And then obviously that's what we get, right? So pretty useful indicator. Like it's semi-lagging, I guess you could say. And it's not like indicative of like right now, like, like I said, the price act, it's pointing to the downside. So it's not like it's just going to continue straight down. There's many other things you can put in. But one key thing is when you're starting to move higher, it's really important to kind of just check around and see what you look like in the short term. And with that, you can zoom in right to like the 4 hour, the 1 hours. One good example of this is what I'm going to say is let's see what pumped today, because something that's like pumping like crazy. You don't want to chase the green candles, and especially if it's like punching into 80 and 90 on the RSI. It was SLP. My smooth love potion, right? Today I put up
that's used in Axie Infinity.
Yeah, it is right. So it's a metaverse project now. So this I put this up earlier, right? We had this massive move. This was like this is a 4 hour time frame. So this is 4, 8, 12. In 12 hours, you rallied like 100% basically. And then when you come to the RSI, you see this, and we're at once again, like when you saw this earlier, I put out this alert. This is what the chart looked like, right? So I'm pointing out to everybody. I said, hey, this is at 86 on the RSI.
Yeah,
way overbought, right? It's going to cool off, and exactly, perfect example of how this is a decent way to kind of determine when to take profits, because then this came after. So this cools off, right? The market restabilizes, restructures. You'll probably come down and test this, 21 EMA or something like that. We'll go into that maybe next week, but then you continue higher, right? So this RSI is very, very powerful tool, especially just to kind of pay attention to when it's overbought or oversold. And when it's oversold, obviously you get, bounces and reversals and stuff like that. So,
okay. So RSI stands for relative strength index, and it ultimately is showing you exactly that. How strong does the market? How strong or weak is the market? And it's basing itself off of the amount of that amount that's being bought versus the amount that's being sold. Right?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Awesome, dude. Awesome.
So Paul,
sir.
So Bitcoin, 100K. What's going on, man? What updates do you have for Bitcoin? What do you think is happening there?
Man, I've eaten my words before, and I probably will have to eat them again, right? So I'm still looking for. I still highly anticipate 100K during November. I do not know, and I do not think that we're going to see it before Thanksgiving, right? So I did a live stream. Oh, it might have been with you guys last week, where we were looking at the 83K. Was that you, or maybe that was with World War Bitcoin? But
I think we saw that. We saw that there's a bullish flag on there, and the target is somewhere around the 80,000 something point. Yeah,
right. So I was looking for that, and then which would have pushed us around 100K, whatever, 90 to 100K, whatever may have you. And then what this.
Is that still in play? Is that still in play, or has that been invalidated?
No, I mean it's not invalidated, but I just at this point, since we haven't really picked up the pace yet, I don't know if that's necessarily going to pull through where we're going to see 100 by Thanksgiving. I do still think we'll see 100 by the end of the month, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So, do you guys know who Tech Dev is on Twitter? Okay,
on Twitter, yeah, I follow him.
Tech Dev _52, something like that. I just want to make sure I always give him credit to what formulated this idea. Because he kind of put out this tweet like last week, and he and I, man, I mean, among other people too, but he's just like somebody who I look at and I'm like, man, this person is literally me. The way he thinks, the way he puts up stuff, and everything like that. So I keep a pretty good eye on what he says, because it's always interesting, and he presents the data really simply, which is something.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and so we were looking at this area last time, like on comparing, I guess, the 2017 bull run, which is, there's a reason, right? Because this was October through November of 2017. So I was looking for a move, very similar to this, right, where we were expecting a pull back to the 21 daily EMA, maybe a new all-time high, which we were looking at that like possible 70, 80K, and then another little small pullback, and then this rally, which would have been up to, about $100,000, which is, basing this on the equivalent in the current market. But when tech dev, which I'm still, that's still in play, obviously, like anything's in play. These are just, theoretical ideas at the moment. And those are next technical targets, if we do start breaking higher. But when tech dev put up his, he showed that right here, right? We topped out in October in 2017, and this was November. We topped out in October on the 21st, which once again, the days don't necessarily mean anything, but I'm just pointing out why, what made me kind of look at this a little differently. So he pointed out that we topped in October on the 21st, and then essentially, pulling a fib retrace to the swing before that we from the top in October 20. I say October 21st like 5 times right now because I'm going to show you what we're looking like right now. So top in October 21st, whatever. From there in November, we swung up to essentially the next target, right? This is a very highly targeted area, the 1.618, pretty much at any point in price discovery mode. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a big dip, but what we did see in the past was we rallied from there to the 1.618. And then we did see a pretty decent pullback. And this is that pullback in Bitcoin that where the profits came out of Bitcoin and just dumped right into the altcoins. The altcoins did not crash with Bitcoin right here. They surpassed it like crazy. This was when everything just started exploding. This is when you had the new all-time high out of Ethereum, just crushing it, all the things, right? So, and then we basically, this is the middle of the month for November. And then we finished up the month right here. This is the end of the month. This is the 30th of November. And we came up and basically tagged, we didn't tag it and crash, but we came up to the 2.272. So I bring this up because these are, technical targets that, the levels here, obviously the percentages or whatever, it doesn't matter, but it's the levels for when you have a high and a low, they come into play. So I'm just going to zoom back over here now. So once again, October 20th, we had a top, then we hit the 1618, a pullback, closed the month 272. And remember how we've been talking about the plan B end of the month projection ideas and all this and all that. Plan B's end of the month for November is 98K.
Okay.
So
I like what I'm hearing.
Let's see here. So this is what we got today, right? So I said October 21st was the top for the month in October in 2017. We came in at 67K top October 20th, 2021, right? So same deal. I'm going to pull this, and this is what Tech Dev pointed out, right, at this point. So I pull this right here, blah, blah, blah. Next technical target, which we talked about this last week as well, right, where we were looking at the bull flag on Bitcoin. I think that's what you were talking about, Miguel, right? You have this bull flag here.
Yeah.
Essentially, how you get a target of a bull flag. Pretty massive. A bull flag is basically a massive rally up and a consolidation to the downside, a small downtrend in the meantime, but it is bullish. Breaks to the upside 68% of the time. Way to get a target for this, right, would be take that flag pole and drag it to here. That actually lands us right about 84,000, right? I just want to bring that up. If you remember what we just went through, 2017, we topped in October, whatever. In general, like once again, like I said, this is not just pulling, fractals at this point. This is actually the next targets that would be in play for Bitcoin. Not only do you have a technical target for this, pattern here, but for this pullback and everything, the 1.618 would be the next ideal target where people are going to take profits on their long positions and anything like that. And if we see anything like we did in 2017, we truck up to this level, we get a pullback, right, middle of the month, and then we end the month at that 2.272. Let's just say in between here, that's between $94,000 and $100,000, which would nail Plan B's target, which would give us. We're going to walk in. Alex and I on World War Bitcoin, we were talking about how blockchain backer. He's a pretty big YouTuber. He's got a 70 to 80K Bitcoin top. And he's got a pretty decent reason behind it, and he's been saying it for like 2 years. So I mean, there's a lot of anticipation for that. So
hold on.
He's claiming that's the top of the market. That's it. After 70, 80, it'd be over.
Yeah, have you guys not seen that?
No.
Yeah. So blockchain backer.
I don't like to follow FUD.
You'll have to check them out. Yeah,
I was actually going to say when you said that puts us to 98 to 103 or whatever, I was going to say that absolutely will be that makes it perfect timing for me to take profits and bye. Okay, I'm sitting down.
I mean, just from that statement that CVO said, it makes sense, right? Of somebody claiming that maybe 80, 70 something would be the top, because people are not going to all wait for 100 to
Right.
sell. People will be
Nor am
taking
I.
profits
Yeah.
ahead of time.
Yep.
And if people, people will say, hey, I'm not going to shoot for that greed of 95, 92. I'm going to take at 80 and just, live at peace with that. And that could cause, just from that statement alone, I'm sure there's more
argument?
behind it.
What's his argument?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't.
Okay. You're just saying he does a good job presenting it.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I know he's had that target. Like I've just done a quick overview. I don't really, like I said, I don't really watch too many others, just because it I don't have the time. B, it interferes with my own thinking, so I don't even let anybody else's ideas in really, for the most part. But no, yeah, he's got like 200,000 followers on YouTube. I mean, he's got a couple 100,000 and he's been around for he's a big X Factor SEC coin maxi.
Okay.
So but he's really cautious. That's the thing. So I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I think he, from what I have seen just past, I haven't seen anything recent, and I never really saw the $80,000 deal, but I guess that's something that's circulating.
But anyways, FUDs. We don't subscribe to that here.
Yeah, but I think he's just a very, very cautious person for the new investor. He's not looking to get anybody wrecked and sell them hopium and all that. So I think that he's just a super cautious person. Nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But anyways, it's getting, like I said, Alex, World War Bitcoin. He brought it up to me, and it's a pretty big idea point at this level. And on top of that, when I brought up this to Alex, I was like, man, I could see, if there's a lot of people not anticipating, but if there's a lot of people that once we do hit this, if this, you guys can't see my screen. Sorry. If this was to play out something similar where we just truck up to, this 84K, and you get this pullback, usually the last time we saw this, this is not quick, right? This is like a week. That guy's going to look like a genius for a solid week, right? Because everybody's going to really be under the impression. On top of that, like I said, the altcoins will not be crashing right here. They'll be exploding. So that's the next thing I was running in my head, and it's kind of what we've been discussing the last few weeks, is that I think that people will either sell early, right, on their altcoins, on their Bitcoin, whatever it may be, which is fine if you're in profit, and that's great for you. But I fear for the people that will sell early and then buy back in at a higher price, and then kind of fall into the whatever. And the idea with that is that Bitcoin doesn't really matter, in my opinion, as far as that goes, because like you said, Nick, it's like, okay, if you sell it 100 and you miss out on one more 100% from that level, from 100K to 200K, that's whatever. But during this time frame when Bitcoin pulls back, and then if we do rip up to 250K, that is the time when the altcoins destroy it, right? So looking back on the altcoin market in 2017, when Bitcoin had that pullback that we were looking at earlier, that if we do hit 84 right now, it'd be the equivalent. The altcoins did not stop. This is the altcoin market from November 10th to the top in January, and this is the market as a whole, right? So right here, this was September to November, which is pretty much what we are going through right now, where we have some small pops here and there. We got that cup and handle situation. Back then we just kind of had a rounded bottom, which I guess you could say we had the same thing right here. So don't even look at that zone right there. We're literally having the same exact time frame. This is September to now. The handle of this huge cup and handle for all the alts, right? This pretty big level. And if you look back here, we had the same exact situation for the altcoins. This is September to November also. So the same exact deal. We've had some really great little runs out of some altcoins here and there. But when things really get cooking here in a few, this is like we're on the cusp of this same situation occurring.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely wild. And this day right here, November, I think it was right here in 2017 when that Bitcoin pullback occurred. And like I was saying, that wasn't a normal pullback where the alts bled, 50% also. That was when the altcoins took all the profits from Bitcoin and they just rallied like crazy. So what I'm saying is right now is like, if we see Bitcoin hit 80, right, in the next week or so, 2 weeks, end of the month, whatever the case may be, pulls back, everybody thinks the bull run is over for Bitcoin. what's the next narrative? Well, a couple weeks go by and all the altcoins are going to top out. So then you're going to see, you know, the altcoins running that whole time, and you're going to 200% this, 300% that, maybe 10x, right? Maybe some really crazy gains. And people start, you know, maybe cashing out right here into the middle of December.
Yeah.
And then what'll happen is that they'll miss out on the real like main explosion, right? On a lot of things. The news, everything's going to be really confusing. Once again, like I said, if we start clearing past 100K, we get up to 200K. The rhetoric is not going to be the top is coming. It's going to be, well, now we're looking for 300, 400, 500K. Like, you know, everybody's going to keep kicking that can down the road. And, you know, the number one, this is a really boring chart, this total two. And what I really would like to compare this to with that idea of if Bitcoin tops early, if everybody thinks it tops at 80 or whatever the case is, they'll sell their alts in a few weeks later at major profits, which is great. But then, like I said, the people who might FOMO back in, because what we saw, you know, something similar. And I do this Tron chart because it's one of the few that just have a fiat based pair, right? So we just looked at all that. This was Tron back in 2017, right? We went over this last time too. But you know, you had all this going on between October, November, and these aren't small moves, right? This is 40-50% move here, 60% there, whatever. And then basically in December. So once again, think about this. If everybody sells out their alts, maybe it's even right now, right? Where you got Bitcoin topped at 80. It's been a few weeks. The alts are running good. My whatever just ran up 200%. I'm going to sell it, right? My 200% gain. Well, then over the next 22 days, you get this. And you can't tell me that most people are going to sit there and watch the thing they just sold just keep going and going and going. Look back and say, man, that's 130x higher than what I just sold it for earlier this month. Bitcoin looks like it's, you know, doing okay. It looks like they're talking about it going to 500K now. You know, people will buy back. You know what I mean? I'm just like throwing out some random ideas there, but it's going to be a wild ride, man. And I could see 80 actually being more realistic, like you said, 80, 85, 87. And then getting a decent pullback. And then people think, because who's going to, you know, everybody's going to be loading up at $100,000 or 99 or 97 trying to sell. So it is something to kind of keep in our mind here as we, you know, progress and start trucking higher once we do.
Raul Powell, how do you say Raul Powell, whatever. Yeah. Okay. I was listening to him the other day, and I love that guy. He made a really convincing argument that essentially said, hey, look, there is a lot of people that believe that 100K ish is going to be the top. And his argument was basically like, listen, the whole point that these institutions, and they are here, is to confuse and to have you have you second guessing, right? Have you not understanding what's going on? And so basically his thought process was like, listen, if everybody thinks it's 100, I'm not 100. I'm not saying that it's not going to, what I am saying is that it's not going to be 100 because of the fact that if that many people are thinking that, they are going to fight against and push against that narrative. And I can't really, you know, I am still, because I'm going to be happy with where I'm at, and I still believe that these numbers are going to pull back heavy enough. I am still taking profits at 100, and I'm just going to have to live with the fact, and then I'll let my alts run. And I'm just gonna have to live with my fat. It's actually going to take a little bit lower than 100, but I'm going to live with that, right? I'm okay. If it drops back before that, if it gets to 80 and starts to dump, Miguel and I have talked about this, right? I'm okay watching it just continue to go because I'm in such a good position anyway. So unless I get to where I really want to get to, hey, it is what it is. If we stop short and this market's actually over, if it ends up happening that way, I'm okay, right? So that 100 number for me is a really important number in conjunction with everything else. ETH is really the biggest one for me, but I don't know. I just think it's really interesting because people do. There is a lot of people thinking, you know, the BitBoy way. We'll say that just because he's the biggest. You know what I mean?
So, and that's the thing to me is that what I just showed you with what the alts did, and this is the thing. Everybody's focused on Bitcoin, and to me, it means nothing. Bitcoin means at this point in time, Bitcoin means nothing. The main focus should be the altcoins, right? Because for me personally, I don't have any Bitcoin now. I got out of Bitcoin months ago. I've been all in alts, doing whatever. No Ethereum and no Bitcoin for me right now because of, basically how the percentage growth at this point is just not, comparable to these altcoins. And it could be any altcoin, right? You could shoot an arrow at any altcoin besides Bitcoin and Ethereum on Coinbase, for example, and you're going to at least probably 10x to 30x compared to the possible, we top out at Bitcoin. And that's the thing. If you're going to try to sell the top of Bitcoin, good luck to you there. If it is 250 or wherever it may is, 220, 210, if it's 110, wherever the exact top comes in at, obviously we're not going to know.
Wish me luck, guys.
Yeah. And it's going to be almost borderline impossible. Right? So, which is whatever. And then you got Ethereum, which to me, I'm looking at $11,000 is like my real key. Like I would sell all my Ethereum if I had it by 11 personally. I'm not telling anybody else to do that. I have reasons behind that. And then you might have a little blow off top towards 13, right? Psychologically, 10,000 is a really big level for Ethereum. If we break through 10,000 and we start clearing and hold for a few days, you're at 11 or maybe 10.8, whatever the case may be. What's the next though? Like I said, nobody's gonna be looking at actual targets. They're just be looking at what's gonna be making sense. Oh, well, the next target's 15K, right? It just is what it is. So
Raul Powell subscribes to subscribes to ETH hitting 20K.
Yeah. Well, many do, right? So, and there's all kinds of things there. And even for me, like ETH hitting 20K, this kind of goes back to what Nick was saying. If you're holding ETH and you sell that at 11 versus 20, it's another 100%, which 100%, at that point
is huge when you have a lot of it. Trust me.
It is huge. It's your complete portfolio, like flipping. So, I mean, that is one big way to look at it. But to me, it's the altcoins are the bigger play at hand. And if Bitcoin tops, regardless of where it tops right now, the altcoins are going to run for another couple of weeks, regardless, right? We all, at least we anticipate that. Maybe that's the big. Maybe the whales come in and trick us, right? Maybe they're running the altcoins first and then Bitcoin last. Who knows? But
so I think I have an idea, Paul. I think I've got it figured out. It just hit me when you just said that. So here's my idea, right? So when I hit my targets, assuming that I hit my targets, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a hole in the backyard of my house, a big hole, right? It's going to be like a hibernation hole, okay? And so I'm going to sell, and then I'm going to crawl in that hole and not have internet access in that hole for about 3 months, right? Then I'm going to come out of hibernation, and I'm going to say, I'm going to give a nice stretch. I know I made all this freaking money at the numbers I did. I don't look at the charts, whatever happened in that time period, and then I see where we're at, and that's where we're at. So, guys, if you're following me on TikTok, I'm going to be hibernating. Just letting you.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be so stressful, dude.
And that's the biggest thing I'm trying to push right now to people to understand is like it's going to be the most confusing time, man, because like I said, everybody's going to be calling tops, right, at every step of the way, because everybody's going to want to be the one to say it. So even if you call it 10 times in a row, the 10th one you nail it, you're going to be remembered for it.
Nailed it.
And so that, if we truck up to 83K, man, and we get a rejection from there, I could see it. I could totally see that. And then actually spinning back around and coming back up to 100K, right? Close out the month of November, knock another, target off of Plan B's belt, and then we're onward and upward. And then the December Plan B target is what really makes me think a lot, because how we were talking, it's 135. And if you remember, I don't think I have.
So CVO, hold on, I want to stop you real quick before we get into December. So if we're expecting Bitcoin to hit 80K or close to 100, whatever it is, have that drop, like you said in 2017, the alts keep running, right? They're not going to drop at this point. What are we seeing for Ethereum by the end of November?
Ethereum for the end of November. Let's take a look.
Oh, shame on you for not having this locked and loaded and ready to go. I needed to know that you had the number in the chamber, son.
Right there, just blast.
We went through this chart like 10 times, so I like to just show it, for the newcomer.
I'm kidding.
Because,
totally
they'll
kidding.
be like, well, where are you pulling that number from?
I'm
homie?
totally kidding.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so once again, and I bring this up not because of just how the exact price action reacted last time, as far as if we were just looking at it like being like, oh, okay, I don't bring this previous market up to say, what, from September to December, it was 18 days and ETH went up 618%. And then, 20 days before that, it went up this high and this high. So that's exactly what it's going to do again. I don't bring this up to do that, right? That's not what I'm doing, but I'm pulling up what these targets would be for and what they were in the past, right? So in 2017, once again, you pull up this fib retracement to any portion of data, and that's how you get these extensions here. We trended sideways a bit. Regardless, you broke the all-time high here in November. So for November, you talking about November's Ethereum, you said, or December?
November.
Right.
End of November.
So for the end of November, right, I would see something similar to this, which would be some, coming into the same targets, right? So we had previously in the end of November, we were just hovering right here about the middle level between the 1.27. I'm not going to say between the two here. So I'd say, between whatever. We'll say
in between. Yeah.
It's the first week right now of November basically going on. So I'll take a step back here. I'm gonna run you through how the price action kind of unfolded to the top. In November, you break through. We came back down. We retested the all-time high, right? That's what you want to see in these structures. You have a breakthrough, you come down, you retest, and you continue higher. So this was November, right? We kind of came through. Not really much price action from here, which is a little odd even as we're looking at the current. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment, because we've seen the break of the all-time high, and it's kind of similar to this, right? We've just been sitting there. You see this, previously. I'll zoom it in a little bit for everybody so it looks a little bit clearer. But generally when you get this all-time high break, you expect some real big fireworks, but we pretty much just trended sideways for quite some time, right? This was
November.
This was a little over. I mean, this was a little bit over a week. So once again, I'm not saying that the timeline has to, could be the exact same, whatever. This time we could go 3 weeks. Who knows? But we broke out. And we just kind of sat here for a bit, and then we retested the all-time high.
Okay.
All right, and then so that's basically your November back in the day, right? And then from there, we rallied up, and this is when Bitcoin tops in December, right? We ran with Bitcoin all the way to the top. We came up to this 1.618, right? That's that golden target right there. So that's where we top with Bitcoin in December. So you have your November right here, your December right here, and then from there, Bitcoin tops, and then all the alts just explode. This is the January top for Ethereum right here at the 2, right? So I'm looking for something pretty similar to that, and we'll take a look at what that would look like right now.
Somebody in the chat, Steve, said this year feels different. Coins, NFTs, metaverse, new stupid money, adoption regulations, etc. And while CVO is pulling this up, I just want to address that. So all three of us were around this last cycle, and everyone was saying the same thing. It's different now. It's different. It's going to be different this time. Evaluating where it was before, and I just want to say that you absolutely could be right, and at some point, you saying it's going to be different this time will be correct. Now, I don't think that it's going to be this time. I think we are still going to see a massive bear market. I think we are still going to see something very similar. I don't subscribe to the fact that I think the charts are just going to do the exact same thing. But the reality is, looking back at them, they sure look pretty freaking close. And so until they're not, right? The saying, like, the trend's your friend till the end, right?
Exactly. Well, still the words out of my mouth. Yep.
It's still, we're there right now. So even though I agree with you, it does feel different, and it does, because I was there.
Right? It always does. It always does. New things come around,
and then we get crushed. So just be prepared. That's all.
To get crushed.
All right, so here's the current Ethereum price, right? So we are very similar to, and once again, it's not the exact same price action itself, but the targets at play are now this, right? So this is what we're looking for. You had this all-time high break. We're basically just chilling, right? Just right above this all-time high. I would imagine maybe throughout November, we come right up to, something similar, maybe the middle area between this, where we are now, the 1.272. It's essentially between $5,000 to $6,000, right? There's a couple of targets too we could go through for this little cup and handle deal here. But regardless, I mean, 5 to 6K, it will probably bounce around between there, maybe into November. beginning of December. We'll have some point we'll come back down and we'll retest this all-time high, possibly pretty hard. This would be an ideal situation to buy in if you haven't already. Realistically, though, we're pretty much there now, right? But this is like a confirmation if we just did take off to 5 or 6K and get a little pullback. But we're pretty much there now. I mean, so this is not like at this point too. Like I bring up these. I talk trade mentality a lot, but like this is not a time to be a day trader. But you don't need to become a day trader. Anybody holding right now is going to absolutely outperform a new trader. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. So that would be, this would be your November, right? Just kind of like right in between, $5,000 to $6,000 is what I would say for November for Ethereum, right? And then we would most likely track all the way up with Bitcoin into next month, right? We'd hit that 200 to 220 to 250. Those are my specific targets for Bitcoin for multiple reasons. The 1.618, which would be the next Ethereum target for December, would be around $8,000. Note that this is right under $8,000 and not at 8,000. Psychologically, people will be like waiting on 8,000.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Right. Yeah. So now this was a time where, once again, it might not happen the exact same way, but this was a time where after this occurred, Bitcoin top took a big hit, right? And actually everything did take a 50% pullback, 40-50%. So we essentially that could be from $8,000 back down to like 5, 4, or like whatever. It's quick. It was a bottom really quickly. This is just an idea. Like this is not saying whatever, but anyways, and that was within like one day, and it was bought up immediately. And then from there, if we saw a similar trend, you'd come up, and this is why I target 11 to 13,000 for my Ethereum top, because that 2 target would come in right at about 11, almost 12,000, right, or 11.1, whatever. So maybe get a blow off top, upwards of 12, 13K, but that would be my January top box. Now, when Ethereum tops, this is my indicator for my other altcoins, whatever I'm in, personally.
Run!
Yeah, that's when, when we basically get to this level, not when we hit this 1,618, not when we hit this, $8,000 level, because we most likely will get a little pullback. But when we come through this and we hold, 9,000, 9,500, 10,000. This is where I'm going to be really, really paying attention, especially if we're leading into January as well. This is where I'm going to be paying attention to all my altcoins, and I'm going to be exiting, regardless if I have a target for it or not. Because at this point, I created this Lambo list, a trading group with targets for January and all this and all that for like every major coin. And then we have the 100x gainers and all this and all that. And it's based on, right, all types of things like actual extended targets plus market cap plus competitors, all these things I put up for the last few months. Man, there's at least 5 coins on there that have already hit and superseded their Mana was one of them, right? That's like basically it's already came into the first target of where we were looking at for months ago. So maybe the targets, don't necessarily get met specifically, but when Ethereum hits this, I mean, Ethereum, I don't think we're going to see a $30,000 Ethereum, anything crazy like that. Maybe we do, who knows? But that's my mentality, my mindset, my exit strategy, so to speak, as we walk into January. Just real quick to spin back to that person that's, once, like you said, the famous last words of "this time is different." We did this before, right? And it's rinse and repeat, basically. And if anybody doesn't know my mentality or my strategy in this market is, I don't marry any single project. I don't care about them. I do love crypto. I love what it's I love what it's done, what it's doing, what it will be. As far as the projects go, I like them in the idea of the technologies and the products that they provide. But as far as price action related, do not think that the price of one of these assets is correlated to the project right now. This is a brand new asset class. It's 12 years old. All this is a cash grab, right? It is what it is. It's about making money. The whales, the major players, the institutions, the elites, they buy up the bear market lows when nobody's looking, and they're going to dump their bags on you.
So I know your question, Nick. I know your question.
So that's actually where I want to head with this. Actually, I'm glad you said that. So every time we have you on CVO, we have other people on, we're always talking about what do the highs look like? What do the highs look like? What do the highs look like? And that's beautiful, right? We love sprinkling a little bit of hopium, right? And So we love sprinkling the hopium. But here's the reality. Miguel and I talk about this a lot. we create generational wealth in a bear market, right? Like, so my thing is that I am more scared of not having, I'm more scared of taking profits and not having this massive bear market, right? And so my question, I guess, would be to you, what do you think this bear, what do you think? Let's throw, I know you have to look at the fact that, hey, the numbers got to here, or they only got to here, or whatever, as it relates to this bear market. But just with kind of what your thoughts have been. First of all, Miguel, I do want to hear what your thoughts, and then CVO, I want you to show me maybe on the charts if you can. What do you think this bear market is going to look like? Miguel, kick it off. What do you think this bear market is going to look like?
So I think we are going to have that, Bitcoin 80% retracement. I do think, the trend is your friend. And I do not subscribe to the fact that we are going to see a super cycle. And that's what's going to happen once we get to those high levels are, inflation. We keep hearing inflation in the regular economy, in the regular world. And, it's talking about now it's not transitory. And we're going to be seeing gas prices going up. And we're going to be seeing all these crazy things happening where people are going to start thinking, well, if all this is happening in the economy, Bitcoin is going to keep pumping. Bitcoin is going to keep going. We're going to hit this super cycle because the dollar is just going to keep getting devalued and Bitcoin is going to keep pumping. And I don't think so. I think that is what CVO says, right? The trap that they set up for us to get confused, and then we're going to have that drop. So if we see 150 to 200,000, I still believe we're going to have that 80% retracement and drop us back to the 40s, 50s at best case.
Okay. Side note.
I mean, worst case.
Did you see all of, remember how I've been talking deflation? Does anybody want to touch on the fact that they're talking about tapering bond yields? I'll sit here and wait. Been talking about this for a while. They did actually announce it. Now, whether it's BS or not, who freaking knows? But at any event, okay. So you're thinking 40 to 50 as it relates to Bitcoin. Yeah. Give me an ETH target. What do you think? Assuming the 40 to 50 number.
Yeah, an ETH target. I think worst case we're gonna see maybe a little bit sub 2,000, 2,500, somewhere around there. I think is where we're gonna go as low as possible. But I'm not a TA person, right? Yeah. That's just from the top of my head from what I see.
Paul.
So for your Ethereum price, like right now that doesn't sound so scary, right? Because we're at 4,000. So what's 50%, right? When you get to $10,000 and $11,000, where most people will probably FOMO into, getting back down to 2 is
that boggles my mind that you say that. And I know I've been in this for a while. I understand that my thinking's different. I understand that we have this maybe somewhat kind of figured out a little bit better. But the idea that people are going to be buying at 10K at the end of the year blows my
dude. People bought Bitcoin. People bought Bitcoin at 19. They bought it at 19, and that thing dropped to 3,800. Yeah, 3,800.
So the reason that they're gonna buy, man, it's like we're like 2 seconds away from Tesla reinstating Bitcoin purchases again. We're 2 seconds away from Apple or Amazon taking it. They don't got to buy Bitcoin. They just got to take it as a payment. That's all they got to say, right? You're 2 seconds away from that. You got this is why they're going to buy it, man, because they're going to, the dream is dangled right in front of them, right? The get rich quick is going to be dangled right in front of them. And if anybody's getting in right now, next few weeks, and really when it starts really pumping up, like I said, a Cardano, that's just a perfect example. Cardano's up 200. Let's say Solana instead. You got Solana at $250, $60, brand new all-time highs today, right? It was $1 this year's January, last year's Christmas, right? So this year's January, so 11 months ago, you could have 200 plus extra money on one of the safest bets out there, right? Like had you put in whatever, you're good to go. Mind you, how many people bought up Solana or have Solana, whatever, at that price rate, right? It's up 200x in 11 months. People today are still buying that brand new coming into it, right? So let's just say Solana is this year's Ethereum and it goes to $1,500, right? You started low, you see another 5x come out of it in the next
few literally months. Was $1.79 on 1/1/21. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god.
It was $1, man. It was $1. That was one of my when I had this trading group starting up, man, like That was one of the best ones we had. That was our first 40x gainer was that, and you know, from that to May.
Wow.
So I remember that specifically why like Solana is $1, because I remember that post I put up. But anyways, it was $1 then, whatever. So anybody buying now is buying something that is like, just think about that with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up, you know, less than 20x from the bear market lows, less than 20x. So if you buy that now, obviously that's a little scary, whatever, the price tag's high. If you're buying Solana right now, you are buying it at 250 times what it was a year, not even a year ago. Yeah. Now, if you did that, and as a newcomer into the space that really doesn't know much, whatever, and it runs to $1,400. Perfect example. I don't necessarily see it going that high. I'm just saying they're going to get a taste of 5xing their money, and that's going to be amazing. This and that. But what is going to happen is that people, once again, that's your friends, your family. Hey, I bought this just 2 months ago. I'm up 3x. All this. Yeah. This is how all this stuff gets bought up at these price ranges. And all you got to see and hear is Raoul Pal say Ethereum is going to go to 20K. I'll buy it at 10 if it'll flip. I'll buy it, you know, if it's going to flip my money, like, why not? It's a, you know, if somebody else is going to say 30, you know, there's already major news articles saying that Ethereum is going to go to 30K, and that's been circulating for a long time. So, you know, it's just
Juggernaut says people are still buying Squid Games after it's rug pulled. So does that tell you much?
Yeah. Well said. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, exactly. And it's just that alone, man. Like, the idea of people won't buy a $250,000 Bitcoin, it's going to happen. Like that's with the idea that it'll go to 1 million, or it'll go to 500K, or it'll go to whatever, right? If somebody like, and maybe they're not dropping 250,000 on one of them, but they'll buy a portion of it, you know, like the 10,000, they'll put their money into Bitcoin, whatever it may be. So the idea of the 90-80%. So for me, I see everything dropping 80-90%. Once again, everything. Yeah. Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Quant, every single thing, 90% again.
So that means you see ETH going down to 2-ish K. I mean, possibly even as low as the previous all-time highs at 1,400 and something bucks or whatever.
Correct. Let me see. It'd be
amazing to buy some more ETH at those prices, bro.
It's actually like a little bit high. I mean, it's like $2,700, I think, at 80. Let's just say 80%, right? Let's keep it whatever. 22. So let's just say 2K. Yeah, 2K. I think that'd be a pretty well-rounded.
That's kind of my target. That's what I'm hoping for as well.
Yep.
And the last time we topped off and we bottomed at like $80, right, which was 90. So I mean, if we did 90% from my $11,000 target. What does that put you at? That puts you below the previous all-time high. So I doubt that'll happen. So let's just say 80% or whatever. Like I said, maybe my target's off and it is 15 or 17 or 20 or whatever the case may be. Whatever it tops at, I would see at least an 80% pullback. Everybody's like main debate on that is staking, right? Staking, ETH 2.0, this and that. But the one thing about staking with Ethereum is that you can't, unless I'm wrong, there's a waiting list for it, for one, to even at this point. For two, when a
bunch of it's gonna unlock for people that have already been in at that point. So there,
But the other thing is too is that they started staking at $300 when ETH was $300, right? Yeah. So no matter what, those people are going to be fine if we eat a 90% pullback regardless. So, you know, it's just like thinking about that. Like, it's not like even if those people don't sell, it's fine. Like, that's not going to crush the price. And the people who stake their ETH are not going to lose. Like, they're not going to cash out at the top. But most of those people probably are holding for longer time periods anyways. But yeah.
So I got a question for you, CVO. So we got Juggernaut here with a question saying, with what you just said about Sol being up 200 something %, is Sol going to be maxed out when all the altcoins start to run?
Solana is one that I'm like revisiting a bit, but at the same time, like I said, highest case in my opinion is that Solana could be this year's Ethereum. I don't have a target right in front of me or a chart.
Ooh, bro, don't tell me that. I bought Ethereum at 283 in 2017. So I'll buy some Solana right now, bro. That's what you're telling me.
Well, what I'm saying is that, you know, that's like buying, you know, at 280, whatever. So anyways, you know, Solana's up, man. It's up a lot. And, you know, to answer that question, Solana is not going to be, you know, even if it goes to what Ethereum's equivalent was, 1,200, 1,400, that's what, 4 or 5x, which once again, great money.
Yeah,
A little
huge.
risky to me on Solana. If I was going to be getting in on anything, I probably wouldn't get in on something that's 200x already, right?
Did you hear Chamath and them talking, the billionaires talking amongst each other? Have you heard this video, CVO? Dude,
no.
They literally openly, you've got to watch it. So Mac and Cheesy put out a video yesterday or today, and actually Ben Bitboy was literally put it up on his show today. I caught a part of it while I was driving place to place, and literally Chamath Palihapitiya, I think is how you say his name, and then who else was in that video?
Some two old guys there. I don't know.
3 billionaires having a video call, and they literally back and forth are openly talking about, hey, they're joking about Solana and how they're manipulating it, and they openly say, he's like, hey man, quit it, you're screwing up the game here, you're messing me up. And they are openly talking about how they are manipulating Solana prices and how they are buying, and how they've been buying basically at discount rates over the counter, and they buy everything that way, basically just flaunting the fact that they can push this shit around, excuse my mouth, they can push this stuff around however the heck they want. And I think it's crazy because Solana is the one that you're hearing a lot of people talk about, like, wait a minute, this hasn't moved like a lot of this has a lot of crazy financial backing like FTX does and some of this other stuff. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And like, to answer that question of, let's say I would give Solana the best case scenario to me would be maybe we see, like I said, an Ethereum style 2017 run to $1,000 or something like that, 1,200, 1,400, which is essentially 4 or 5x from now, which would be an amazing return for this enther run.
Yeah.
Guys, give me like 5 minutes real quick. I'll be right back and go buy some Solana.
But once again, like you're thinking that, but it's no better.
It's risky as heck. You're buying the top. You're buying a local high.
It's no better opportunity.
Well, wait a minute. You're buying a local high, but
you're buying an all-time high.
We still got the altcoin season left,
you're
bro.
You're buying an all-time high. You're assuming,
you're not gonna buy an all-time low.
You're assuming that we're not having a double top right now.
Of course not. We got the Pearl over here telling us we're gonna go skyrocketing altcoin season. What are you talking about, double top, man?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, the thing that I guess I'm trying to answer that question for that person, but yeah, like if Solana, like I had a pretty like a $500-$600 top for Solana, but once again, but my targets aren't like gospel by any means. It's just more so like when these things get to those levels.
Oh, they're not. Cancel the Thursday stream, Miguel. We're not doing this anymore.
But like I said, like I mean, man, like Mana, a couple other, like half of these things, not even half, a couple of them, I've already gotten pretty close to these massive 10x, 20x targets over the last month and a half, right? So some of these, things, it's just crazy. But regardless, like when you go to Coinbase for a perfect example, right? Let me take a look at Solana here. What is and I'll pull this up for everybody too. So I put this on my live streams in the morning almost every day, right, to kind of show everybody a good couple plays, because you don't have to go to KuCoin. I mean, KuCoin is going to have the small cap stuff, but you don't have to go to KuCoin to totally win right now, right? If you're coming in and you don't want to risk it, and going to KuCoin, most people are going to get really greedy and not really know how to do it. But let's see here, Solana. It's on here somewhere, right there. So Solana is, which once again, $73 billion, right? Totally could. Let's say totally could. $73 billion right now. All right. So Ethereum today is $500 billion, right? After several years, which that doesn't necessarily matter, because if more money comes in, it is what it is. But let's just say that the price level that Ethereum has built up to for so long at $4,500. A 4x, 5x.
That's an 8x. Who's counting?
Or whatever. Yeah.
almost 8.
Regardless, like that would take you to this level, right? And which is great. Like, so let's just say 8x would be max, which is, I mean, that's going to be massive for Solana, right? An 8x move. It's the dollar amount would be great if you bought it at
$1,930. That's like $1,920 or something if it moves that. But yeah.
Right. So and then so 8x, right? Like to me, Chainlink, $300 is a done
freaking
deal.
shoe in.
Right, is a done deal. That's a 10x easy, right? So you got a Solana with a possible, very, very possible. To me, it's just a lot of risk, I guess, is what I bring up for that. But you got all these others, man, that are gonna, Terra Luna, could possibly be another 10x from here. Litecoin is one that, we World War Bitcoin and I, we go back on and forth. The Litecoin was the first coin I got into, right? This is where I got into it. This was my Ethereum, so to speak, from 2017. I got Litecoin in $3 and $30 back in 2017. That was my number one in. Anyways, target for Litecoin is at least a 10x, right? You got all kinds of things on here, man.
Hold on. Whoa. Hold on a second. Back that up. What did you just say? You just said
10x, baby.
Litecoin is a 10x. It's a $200. You're calling for a $2,000 Litecoin?
I'm actually looking for a $2,500 to $5,000 Litecoin, but yeah,
$5,000 Litecoin. Ooh, baby.
Hey, we're going to be doing mandatory drug testing before the shows start moving forward.
So, all right, let me show you something, because Litecoin, Neo, I've been going over these a lot recently too, right? Litecoin, Neo, Qtum, and a few others. Neo is actually something that, you're going to think I'm really crazy when I talk about Neo, but
because Neo's like a dead project. Neo's like,
but anyway, so Litecoin, for a perfect example, right? This is a daily time frame. This is 3.5 years, right? This is 2018.
Oh, okay.
When we look at some of these double bottoms, whatever, this is called the Adam and Eve double bottom, right? Where you have this kind of V-shaped recovery, and then you got this rounded bottom over here. Super bullish pattern, right? A reversal pattern in general. Idea here is that the longer the base, the harder the break, essentially, and things like this. And I mean, you're talking about a asset here that has been accumulating and consolidating basically in a huge reversal pattern here. You could have another cup and handle over here. It's got pattern after pattern. And on top of that, the price action has been suppressed for, from not reaching the all-time high. This to me is one of the best large cap gainers that we probably have around right now. And it's one of those things that just isn't sexy at the moment until it starts moving, right? It's just one of those deals. And the target for this, that beautiful 1.618 that I always talk about, right?
Oh, man.
Comes in right there, and it's $2,500. The 2 is at 75, which I don't see that happening, but I would see a blow off top up to about 5. But right here, I would be, I've got a Ledger Nano full of my 2017 Litecoin that I never sold. So it's holding out for this one right here.
Yeah, man. I was about to say, I bought Litecoin back at $30, $20, so I'm ready.
Will it happen? Who knows, right? Like, I mean, it could be totally wrong, but I would be very, very shocked to see this just completely just flop. Neo is even more of a just from a technical perspective, right? Like you said, could be a dead project, whatever. You get one announcement that Neo's opening up a metaverse at this point. That's all anything needs really at this level, is that some sort of, even if it's fake, right? It doesn't matter. But seriously, any of these projects, if they can sell themselves well, it doesn't matter what they're going to do. If a partnership is real, if anything is this and that, they just need to be able to drive hype to their project right now.
Cup and handle into a bull flag. Is that what that is?
Essentially right here. But just in general, once again, you got 3 years, right? Neo has just been pulling off the biggest cup and handle I've ever seen, right? For 3 years plus. We're not even at the top of the handle, essentially. So from here to here, the measured move is essentially, you'll laugh at when I say it, right? It's also $2,000, right? It's $40 today. That would be a 50x if this is a hypothetical situation right now, but I'm paying attention to it, right? Like this could be something that like nobody's anticipating.
Are you trying to trade this?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
bro. Neo is the one.
Neo's the one. But I'm not trading right now. But I'm looking, if this cup and handle breaks, I'll be paying attention. So it's just something that just for the Litecoin example, so, like we very rarely see. It's just.
So I asked something. So first of all, let me just be clear to all of the viewers, right? Everybody knows, new, old, whatever. We're obviously A, having fun with each other, but B, it's speculation what we're doing here. So speaking of speculation, all of this does not happen at the same time, right? So Litecoin doesn't hit its all-time high at the same time Bitcoin hits its all-time high at the same time as ETH hits its all-time high. And so I posed a question earlier today to Miguel on a drive in between a couple job sites, and I want to ask it to Paul, to CVO. What do you think? And I don't know that it overall really matters, but I'm trying to just get a little bit of a temperature check, just kind of see what you're thinking here, or if you even have a thought on it. What do you think the overall market cap of the crypto space is going to get to at its peak this run?
At its peak. So
we're at 2.8 something. Hold on, I'll double check. We're at 2. We are at 2. Where did it go? Whoa, well, we're down a little bit. Okay. We're at 2.71 trillion right now. Okay. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, first of all.
Can you chart the whole market?
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. So,
oh, really? Show me that.
I just literally pulled from the all-time high of 2017 to the low, and look at where we are sitting right now. My number one favorite target, 1.618.
1.618. I like to know
exactly
that.
Got to share
exactly
screen.
Where we came to before we
share
had
screen.
our
share screen. Share screen.
Oh, my bad. Damn, that was an epic little scene there too. All right, I'll go back here. So I got the whole market up here, right? Everything with Bitcoin included.
Okay.
You see that? Okay, yeah. So I took the fib retrace from the 2017 high to the low here, and like I said, you came up, and I'm going to knock this off real quick. But you can see right here, 1.618 is exactly where we came up to, and that's where we took the tumble back in May. Right, we had our fall down for quite a while. Okay. Got some support right here at the next fib level below us. And we basically came back up. We hit it again. We hit it again. Just made that cup and handle. We're breaking above, and we're coming down for support. So technically, I'd be looking at least $10 trillion.
Ooh, by the end of this cycle?
By the end of the cycle. So, but like you got to imagine that if Bitcoin goes to 250K, that's going to be 5 trillion.
5 trillion by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would assume that out of those 5 trillion, then it has this blow off top, will then push into the altcoins or something like that, and it won't compound. The 5 won't turn into 10. So
no. Well, I'm just saying that we'll have all this coming into the market as a whole. Like there'll be $10 trillion in the market, and 2.5, let's say, comes out of Bitcoin. Like you'll have 10 trillion or 7 trillion, whatever the case may be, as we're kind of building up. And like as Bitcoin tops and that funnels out, that'll be about 2.5 of the existing money at that point. But we'll probably see a movement very similar to just that. Is just throwing that out there, right? Just speculating, just having some fun.
Yeah. No, I ultimately long term, I believe that there's no reason why the crypto market doesn't absolutely Pac-Man gobble up the freaking stock market. I don't see any way that the stock market doesn't end up on the blockchain and being traded 24/7, because we are in a society now that absolutely 100% is all about, I want it now, and you're going to give it to me, right? And so the stock market only trading, right, Monday through Friday is kind of a joke, right? Especially now that crypto is doing what it's doing. So I see it moving over onto the blockchain, first of all. Second of all, I don't see any reason why I believe the NASDAQ, I believe I think it's 35, don't quote me on this, $35 trillion. I don't see any reason why crypto doesn't hit that relatively quickly and ultimately well surpass it, especially once we start getting some of this this old money, as I like to call it. So, some of this actual like ETF, like physically backed, right? Bitcoin backed, ETH backed ETF, where we have money pouring in for people's retirement funds and this, that, and the third, that ultimately right now they're not allowed to have the exposure. I think that part of that not being allowed to is manipulation by these banks trying to figure out how they're going to position themselves to be able to actually custody Bitcoin themselves and be able to do some things. But I digress. I think it's going to be freaking massive. And Miguel and I talk about this all the time. CVO, you're not doing, it sounds to me like most of what you do is, from what we've talked about, most of what you do is trading, and most of what Miguel and I do is long-term hodling. And one of the things that we deal with and struggle with all the time is like, listen, am I being greedy with the fact that I know I'm a long-term hodler? I know that with what I have right now, I
we're
should be
good.
more than set, right? And so am I just being greedy by trying to take profits this time, trying to capitalize, trying to act, almost make a large trade, right? And so
Yeah, short-term gain.
yeah,
When we're pretty much set for the long term. And this goes back to why I asked CVO or Paul, for about the Ethereum target for the bottom for the end of November or December, is because I'm thinking, what if I put up some of my Ethereum as collateral, pull out a loan so I don't get hit with capital gains, and
right,
double up
right,
on my ETH position, or
right.
knowing that it's going to be what you would call an easy flip to double that. Right. If I buy up some ETH now at 4K, hitting 8K won't be too out of the question by the end of December, and be able to make some money in the short term with no capital gains and double up some of my ETH in that
It
position.
sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Sounds amazing, right? Sounds in my head. I'm just like, yeah, but things get crazy. Things get, start moving real fast, up and down. Exchanges start to crash, and then you never know what might happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, and somebody, the most common question, right, when you start talking about 250K Bitcoin, or even when you start digging a little deeper, right, what does that mean for the market cap? And that's going to mean at least $5 trillion is sitting in Bitcoin for a hot second. That's going to mean if you're gonna, and then the altcoins aren't just going to sit there and do nothing. So like you said, for new money to come in, it's going to be pushing them up. So to see $10 trillion on the leaderboard. Where is that money coming from? Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Number one question.
What?
And
Saudi, bro. Somebody said it in the chat. Saudi money. All them people sitting all that gold money over there. They're gonna start, and oil. They're gonna be buying up Bitcoin.
So ultimately, who cares where it's coming from? Here's my question, right?
Wait, hold on. Saying that it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, but there is some sense to that comment of Saudi money, because I've heard Raul Paul talk about it, and he basically, what was that?
I just love the way you say Saudi.
I'm laughing how you're saying Saudi money. Like, like I got that. What's that old? That music? Daggone it. We got. Oh yeah, he got that Arab money. You know what I'm talking about? Have you heard that before? Oh my god. Okay, go ahead.
So Raul Paul has talked about it, that some of these people have so much money that they cannot buy Bitcoin because they would push Bitcoin. They would become too big of a whale, and they don't want to be a whale manipulating the market. They want to be a participant in the market, right? And they don't want to be pushing up by buying a large amount. So people that have these crazy, this crazy wealth that can't even be calculated sometimes, whether it comes from gold or oil or whatever, real estate empires or whatever it is that they're doing out there in the global markets, will definitely be having the opportunity. We'll be looking for a higher market cap Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin hits these crazy astronomical prices, then they can jump in and not push prices at that point. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, and like I said too, man, I mean, that's just like on the, like you said, yeah, there's major play. I mean, that's going to take some big money coming in for sure. But it's going to be an exchange of hands too. And, somebody's commenting like, oh, the people who pay $300,000 for golf memberships that are tax write-off, this and that. So, before I did this, I was a big hospitality guy, man. I was a food and beverage director at a couple of country clubs and blah, blah, blah. And, constantly, man, day in and day out, right? I'm actually, going to meet with a member tomorrow on something, but these people, all of a sudden now, because they see it, too late, not necessarily too late, but they're seeing it now. They're seeing the writing on the wall, there's a reason, going back to real quick, my idea of why January is the top. Like, why would January be the top? Why does that mean? Why do we have to have this blow off top? Why is there all this excitement coming to the market? Well, when you think of the ones that bought it all up at the lows, right? Because once again, if the crypto market was just going to go straight up from here, everybody would buy it and everybody would win, right? Like everybody would ride Bitcoin up.
But there has to be a buyer and there has to be a seller at some point.
Exactly. Like who would be buying at some point, I guess, right? Because if everybody just dumped all their money right now into crypto and just let it ride, where would the next buyer come from, right? Like it just doesn't work like that. So the people that bought up the lows and all this and all that, like a $3,000 Bitcoin, and they're gonna sell it out at around 200 plus. It's gonna be a 100x move, right? Yeah, exactly. You. There's multiple of them. And to offload their bags and still be in profit, because if you start offloading right now when the market's subpar, there's really not too many buyers going on right now. Like you start dropping hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin at 60, you're going to end up selling your last one at like 10K because you're not going to have enough buyers at 60, and then you're going to have to go down to 50 and so on and so on. So it's not a coincidence that Facebook launches this metaverse, campaign deal at the time we are now. And it's not a coincidence that you see all this marketing and all this stuff come out for Shiba. And it's not a coincidence that McDonald's, Burger King, Nike all release NFTs now, and gaming is the new thing. And this and that.
Even Disney is releasing NFTs now.
I'm sure everybody will. And like I said, all you're going to need is Tesla, Disney, Apple, just to take payments. That's it. Just to take payments again and bring up that talk. And not even that news alone pushes it, but then, the price action alone. We wake up tomorrow to a $75,000 Bitcoin. The hype is there. Everybody's FOMOing in. I didn't buy yesterday. I don't want to miss it going to 100K. These guys from, and girls, right? These people that I've worked with in the past at these country clubs in Naples, man, Fifth Avenue, all that old call your money for one example, just of a retail trader. Because it's not all $1,000, life savings over here somebody's trying to put in. There's people with big bucks that are also trying to get it, like that'll try to come in and capitalize, right? I have people every day reaching out saying, where can I put 300K in today?
Right.
What coin? Blah, blah, blah. And that's a handful at that. Like, and there's got to be more than that all around. Business people, whatever. Somebody's looking to, get out of business, right? Like they're trying to, you're going to have people taking loans out. All this and all that. When they got the dream dangled in front of them, and the price starts moving fast, because that's the thing. We're in a slow period right now. We're in a consolidation. It's boring. It's not sexy. It's not attractive. People are kind of like teetering on it.
Yeah.
When this thing moves, we all know it. We spend 80% of our time, like in a trading aspect or holding. You spend 80% of your time waiting. Right. You spend 80% of your time waiting, 20% trading, investing,
waiting, and speculating and chatting about it. Yeah,
exactly. So, and then the 20% that's exciting, right? When the market is moving, it comes very fast and it comes furious, right? So if you're not positioned already before then, you get panicked, right? And if you're in the middle of the run up, you're going to be doing anything and everything to get in, catch it, cash in, blah, 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 blah. So on and so forth. So
that's exact. So I want to finish with this actually. So, okay. We got a lot of people that come in, and, our whole thing is educate to help you build a game plan, educate to make sure that you have that education on the front end. So I would love it, CVO, if you could leave us with this. We have a lot of people that really want to get in and trade. Okay. Let's say we can't talk them out of that. What would be your advice to someone coming in right now that says, listen, I'm going to listen to you about, X, Y, and Z, but I want to get in right now and I want to trade. Okay. What would your advice be to the trader right now getting into the market?
Well, first of all, it's an emotional game, right? It's this, and not emotions based on like, if you are sensitive, it's emotions based on two things, fear and greed, right? If you get really fearful on a day when the market is down, you're not going to make it. If you get really euphoric and greedy, what I mean by that is if you put in $1,000 right now in a Shiba or whatever you got and anything, and it 10x's, instead of thinking like, okay, great, something else is down or whatever, I can just take this profit. I can take out my initial and I can put that into something else and let it ride. If your mindset is, it's going to keep going like 20 more X or 30 more X, I'm going to keep holding. That's greed, right? You don't know how to control your greed. So you don't know how to control that, right? So that's going to bite you in the end. And most people aren't even emotionally capable of holding, right? So that's one thing I'll even put out and say that there too. People get shaken out in May, you know what I'm saying? Like on that, you could have held for 2 months and you're right back at
Diamond
least
hands, baby. Diamond hands.
At least right back. But if you are going to come in and you want to trade, because once again, that is exciting, and that is there is a lot of opportunity. And my my suggestion would be, and this is kind of what I put out to the new trader for now, is that don't look to actively just jump on, whatever anybody says or whenever, right? Like find something that looks, good, has some good, socials, has good news coming out, whatever the case may be. And then, obviously get in on it, whatever. And if you have like 5 projects you're diving in on, right? Have a little diversity, have some large caps, have some small caps, have some whatever, have a meme coin or 2 if you want. But if one of those 5 explodes 200%, 300%, whatever the case may be, in the near term, right, coming up, take that and then dump it into your other 4, right, that haven't moved yet. And that would be my suggestion for that. But once again, emotionally, the greed might get you there, because when you cash out of anything at this point, you risk, and I'll show you a really great example of this really quick. You're going to run into the position where you cash something out and it runs up another 8x, right? So actually Jasmy, something on Coinbase. We just went through this.
Ooh, Jasmy. Everyone's asking about that on TikTok.
About this, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
So you guys are in the trading group, right? So you guys saw this one too. Like last week or week and a half, dude, man, the Halloween weekend was amazing, right? For a trader, if you were going that route, or even an investor too, right? Like you're still up no matter what. Jasmy, right? I had Jasmy posted up, right? It had this rounded bottom. We had a breakout. We were looking for a retest of support and continuation higher, right? So this is 4-hour time frame, right? So this was, if you're living this live, I'll even cut this up, and I'm trying to show an example of greed, right? So let's just say we cut this up, and maybe I froze.
Maybe we cut this up. We don't cut this up.
Jasmy broke the charts.
Yeah, Jasmy broke the mold, right? Man, all right. So I guess it ain't gonna let me do that. But anyways, for example, we'll pretend we're right here, right? We're living this live. You got your breakout, you're holding this, and you're up at the time. You get to this level, you're up 30%, right? You bought the retest or whatever, you bought in earlier, however it may be. You're up 30%. You've been sitting on this for 2 or 3 days, and you want to take that profit and you want to roll to something else that something else that hasn't moved yet, right? So this is where the greed's going to get you, because if you can't like emotionally disconnect from missing out on this 200% the next day, it's not worth it. So this is why I say to everybody coming in right now, becoming a trader you're not going to win this right now. This market is going to be so exponentially up to the upside that you're going to this is not the time to start coming in and take profits every step of the way, right? You're going to want to have to me, come in and make a trade from now till January. Plan to take everything out in January, and that'll be a great trade. From there, February, starting next year, that'd be a great time to start learning the trade. I guess would be the ideal set. And I just want to show you how Bitcoin looked for a perfect example too, just at the end of this, right? If you wanted to try to start taking profits on Bitcoin back in the day, for a perfect example, in the end of this blow off top,
because what I hear people or see people do all too often when they jump in and trade, they have this idea that it's this sexy thing that they need to be active. It needs to be happening now. And what I think they make a mistake on is they over trade. They're like, I got to get in. I got to find something. And they push it. They try to see something on the chart that maybe isn't there, whatever.
For sure. And don't get me wrong. I was there. Like I've been that guy too. I've made every mistake you can make. I bought tops. I sold bottoms. I did it all. Right. So I say this with a real passionate reasoning behind it. It's just over the next 90 days, you could look, whatever you're going to start with right now, I guarantee you, if you start trading as a new trader, unless you somewhat have some direction and can rid your mind, you're going to look back in 90 days and say, wow, had I just held that initial thing, not stressed, not done anything, I'd be up probably 3 times my money. Because this is what we're walking into this right now, right? So we're getting to this level where you're going to try to start taking profit right here. All right. 23, let's just say even something crazy, right? You got a 50% gain. Amazing. That's half your portfolio, half whatever. You're going to take profit here. Well, then look what happens next, right? Next day, boom, another 50%. And there's pullbacks along the way. Don't get me wrong. And there's right. I take profit and I move things around as at this point, it's somewhat of an experienced trader. But my biggest thing is I run a trading community with 980 other people. And the biggest thing that I have to help them with is their emotion, because they can't.
Yeah.
It's like you said, if they need to they need to see it right now. If you can't wait the 2 weeks or the 2 months or whatever. So if you're going to trade, I just say trade with a small amount, buy something, buy whatever you think you like. If you like whatever they're doing, whatever, something that you're going to hold till January. I'll say that. Take 10-20% of whatever you're going to put into the market and trade it and see how you do, right? At least that way you don't risk it all. And at the end of the day, that 80% that you're leaving in a hold will probably outperform you. But that'll at least get it out of your system.
It'll wet your beak at least, right?
Yeah,
no doubt.
Don't get me wrong, I love trade. I trade every day, right? So I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from it, but this is just this right here is not the time to
try to learn.
Yeah, this is not the time to become a trader because you don't need to be, right? You could literally sit on your hands the next 90 days and make money. And yes, it's like if I was in Jasmy and I took the 200% and I rolled that into something else, I mean, that's going to mentally get to everybody, right? Because it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But 5 months from now, you're not going to remember that exact thing that happened last week or whatever. You're just going to be like, oh, cool. I 30x my money last year, and now I'm building a portfolio, and I'm looking to buy in at the bear market lows, and I have a strategy and this and that. And that's really what it comes down to, right? We have a 60 to 90 day window where right now is a cash grab. It's not the end all be all. We'll never be able to make more money in crypto, but it's just to me, it's a guaranteed window of opportunity to just make money. But that's what I would say.
Thanks, dude. That's really good advice.
Yeah, man, that's got me thinking, bro. That's what's got me thinking about those loans, right? Taking out those loans instead of putting more cash in, just taking out some collateral that's just sitting there doing nothing. That I'm expecting it to go up anyway, so I don't have to be very fearful of a big drop happening and being liquidated on my collateral, and being able to double up my position with that loan, and
guys,
milk the cash cow, bro. Milk the cash cow.
So let me finish it. Let me finish off with this, guys. So first of all, none of us are financial advisors. We're not here to give you financial advice, right?
Wait, what?
We all three. We all three. Dude, Miguel's actively trying to get us booted off here. We all three do things differently. We think differently, just like you're going to have a different thought and or possibly game plan or path towards what works for you. But at the end of the day, it does need to be something that works for you. Right? There's things that I can do that Miguel's not going to be good at. Vice versa. Same thing that he can do that I'm not going to be good at. Same thing with Paul. Paul can do things that I'm not, and that's okay, right? So figure out a strategy that works for you. And the way that you figure that out is by first getting educated. You follow somebody like CVO on TikTok. You get into his trading group, right? CVO, how do they get into that trading group? Your trading group, if they want to get in there?
I have a link in my TikTok bio.
Okay, so check out CVO's link in his TikTok bio, right?
If you're you can find his socials in the description of the video, by the way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll have all his socials in there, guys. We appreciate him coming on every Thursday and doing this. And so I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is there's got to be something that works for you. Figure out what that is, right? And it does take time. This is not a lottery ticket scratch, right? It might feel like it sometimes. You might feel like an absolute genius here in the next, few months or whatever. But please, I just beg you guys, manage your greed. I'm probably going to get roasted for this. I actually did a TikTok right before I got on here, basically thumbing my nose into people's face about the fact that I literally last week told people take profits on Shiba, and I got roasted for it. I got a ton of people saying, "Oh, you're an idiot." Da, 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 da. Guess what, folks? Shiba is down 30% since I said that. And so I'm not saying that I know everything. I could have been absolutely wrong. But the reality is, guys, this market is wild. So get yourself educated, understand what your game plan is, follow your game plan. Guys, if you are in the live chat and you haven't smashed up the likes, please X out for 2 seconds before we get off here. Smash up a like, comment. You guys have been doing great. We appreciate all of the support. We're going to be here with CVO every Thursday. We're doing TA Thursday. So thank you, Paul, for coming on. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, anytime.
Crypto fam, listen, if nobody's told you before today, we freaking love you. We hope you guys have a wonderful night.